Thank you for tuning in to our second series of Breadcrumbs podcast with me, your host, Barbara Smith. Gather around with your little ones because it's kids' story time. Hello, boys and girls, and everyone watching from around the world, wherever you might be. I just wanted to come to tell you today that lying is not pleasing to God. Lying has consequences, and it will not be to your benefit to lie, even though you think it might be the better way than telling the truth. The Bible tells us that liars will not be able to go to heaven, so we don't want to be liars. Let me tell you a little story about the boy who cried wolf. This little boy was a shepherd, and he was out in the field day in and day out, keeping the sheep and going here and there and taking them to the water, bringing them to the grass and the meadows. And he got so bored at times, he just did not know what to do. So one day he came up with this plan, and he said, let me just cry wolf and see what the people would do. He thought it would be very funny. So he began to cry, wolf, wolf. He ran into the town crying, wolf, wolf, there's a wolf about to get my sheep. And the people left their jobs, they left their homes, they came running, they wanted to help him because, of course, these were not his sheep, these were other people's sheep, and he was tending them. He was the shepherd, and they came running, and when they got there, he just belly laughed. He just thought that was hilarious, and he said, there's no wolf, I was just joking, I was just kidding. And so everybody left, went on their way, and went back to town and to their jobs and to their homes. Well, a couple of weeks passed, and he did it again. He thought it was just so hilarious, and he was so bored. He was just didn't know what he was going to do, and so he ran around crying, wolf, wolf, there's a wolf getting my sheep. The townspeople came running again and left their jobs and left their homes, came to investigate and see what was happening. And he said, gotcha again, there's no wolf. I was just playing, I was just joking. They were very angry, and they said, you have to stop doing this. He did it over and over again, and they began to tell him, you have got to stop doing this. We can't come out every time that you are crying wolf. You need to stop this nonsense. They all went back to their homes. Well, not too long after that, he was sitting there on a lazy day under a tree and looked out towards his sheep, and lo and behold, there was a wolf creeping up from the woods into the clearing, going to get a sheep. He jumped out from under that tree and started running and crying, wolf, wolf, there's a wolf getting the sheep. And he could see the wolf grabbing the sheep, and there were 2 or 3 sheep being dragged out to the forest. And he kept on hollering, wolf, wolf, but nobody came. The wolf finally left with his couple of sheep that he had gnawed on and grabbed and taken to the woods. And when finally the day was over, the little boy came back into town. He was so despondent. He was so upset. He said, I cried wolf and nobody came. Now there's 2 or 3 of the sheep that are gone. They're dead. And I have failed at my job because nobody helped, nobody came. And the townspeople said, you cried wolf too many times when there were no wolves. You cried and said there was, and you lied. And so we just stopped coming. When people don't tell the truth, when people are liars, often they will not be believed even when they do tell the truth, because there has been a break in trust. People do not believe you when you talk if you're lying all the time. And that was the story of the poor boy that cried wolf. Now, it used to be back in the olden days, they used to say, my word is my bond. And they didn't sign big old contracts like we do now, have all these legal papers that they have to draw up. They just give a handshake and they give their word and they say, I will be there at 10 o'clock in the morning. And guess what? They would be there at 10 o'clock in the morning. Or they would say, I will bring you $100 and you will give me 2 cows and I will meet you here at noon tomorrow. They would meet at noon. The one person would have the money, the one person would have the cows, just because they said so and they told the truth. Our word and what we say is very, very important, and it builds a good trust with others when they know that whenever you speak, you're going to be telling the truth. And this is the same way in our homes and with our families, with our moms and dads and our sisters and brothers and those we go to school with. If they know that you will not lie, they know that you are always telling the truth, then you become trustworthy. We have to also remember that lying is very displeasing to God, and that is the biggest reason why not to lie, because the Bible says that liars can't go to heaven. So if you have lied in the past, and if you've been thinking about lying, ask God to forgive you and take that desire out of your heart so that you can be truthful and that you can tell others, always tell others the truth every single day and be trustworthy. I hope you enjoy the story about the boy that cried wolf. Don't be that boy that cries wolf, but always tell the truth and have a good day until we get together again for another story time. Bye-bye. Thank you for stopping by. That's all for today. Don't forget to like and subscribe and share with your friends. Until next time, bye-bye.